One was the so-called senior brother villain, who spent his days sipping tea and gossiping. The other was the so-called chosen one, the protagonist Ye Chen. Today, Ye Chen finally joined the Qinglan Immortal sect. The senior brother had actually planned to secretly help him win first place in the initiation trials. But Ye Chen, stubborn as ever, ended up messing things up himself without even realizing it. This was the day of the sect's entrance trial. The second senior sister, Guo Yurong, began with a passionate speech, warning the newcomers that if they couldn't handle such a simple test, they might as well turn back early. Among the crowd, Ye Chen smugly agreed, declaring that anyone who feared the first trial had no right to show their face. The others disliked his arrogance, but couldn't argue, given his extraordinary talent. Soon after, Ye Chen approached Guo Yurong. "I am Ye Chen. I've long admired your reputation, Senior Sister Guo," he said. Seeing her breathtaking beauty, his heart stirred. Just as his master had told him, the Qinglan Immortal sect truly was his destined place. He quickly struck up conversation, praising her swordsmanship and asking if she could guide him on some cultivation problems. Watching this, Ling Xiao frowned. "You may send me to my grave, but you'll never touch my junior sister," Ye Chen quickly explained. He only felt an instant connection with Guo Yurong and simply wanted to exchange sword techniques. But Ling Xiao wasn't convinced. "A mere wanderer without a sect dares to discuss swordsmanship with my junior sister," he mocked. Ye Chen retaliated, ridiculing Ling Xiao as weak and unworthy, claiming he must have used underhanded tricks to enter the sect. At this point, Huaijian stepped in, saying that senior brother was only hiding his strength. After all, Ling Xiao held the record for the immortal ladder, though the story of that record was based on a misunderstanding. Today, it had clearly become a point of pride. Ye Chen, however, refused to believe that this so-called failure was truly the record holder. He swore he would break the record and humiliate him in front of everyone. Then, Guo Yurong explained the rules of the trial. Challengers were forbidden from using weapons or artifacts. They had to rely solely on their spiritual power to climb the ladder. Anyone who reached the golden steps and placed within the top 100 would qualify for the Grand Disciple ceremony. They could even attempt to break the standing record, but cheating would result in immediate disqualification. The test began, and disciples rushed forward. Some, lacking the strength, couldn't even move an inch on the golden steps. But Ye Chen, the so-called chosen one, faced no such problem. He was determined to step all over Ling Xiao's name and win Guo Yurong's admiration. As expected, the villain Ling Xiao was supposed to hinder him out of jealousy. Yet, as the child of destiny, Ye Chen relied on his raw power, not only breaking the record, but leaving his handprint on the stone tablet. Seeing the moment arrive, Ling Xiao finally attacked. Ye Chen sensed danger and dodged, but another disciple, just about to complete the golden steps, fell victim instead. Though frustrated, Ye Chen couldn't retaliate directly. Guo Yurong immediately warned Ling Xiao to stop his tricks or face punishment. He pretended to agree, but planned one last move. The second stone he threw was deflected by Ye Chen, striking Ling Xiao in the face. Unable to tolerate it anymore, Guo Yurong reported him. At this point, Ye Chen looked smug. To distract him, Ling Xiao shouted, "Look! There's a beauty flying above you!" As Ye Chen glanced upward, Ling Xiao struck again. But Ye Chen had already seen through such petty tricks. Just when Ling Xiao expected a counterattack, the unexpected happened. Ye Chen, trying to catch the stone, slipped and fell off the cliff. Ling Xiao froze. Wait, this isn't how the script was. To go! Meanwhile, hidden among the crowd, Lu Yingying had been watching everything unfold. But why did Ye Chen really fall from the immortal ladder? The truth was, it had all been the doing of Lu Yingying. Already aware of the script's future developments, she had secretly planted a chameleon on the ladder the day before, setting things up so that during senior brother's final strike, she could secretly sabotage Ye Chen. Of course, while some rejoiced, others were upset. Still, as the so-called chosen one blessed by destiny, there was no way Ye Chen would end his journey here. Shameless as ever, Ye Chen stepped on others' backs to climb higher, charging upward at full speed. Outraged disciples shouted that she was cheating, but Ye Chen argued back. "I didn't use any weapons or magical tools. I relied only on my own spiritual power." 3 words summed it up: shameless. Even so, Guo Yurong ruled that there was no violation. That only made Ye Chen more brazen. In this world, if you don't fight for yourself, heaven itself will abandon you. Spots are limited. Instead of nitpicking others, worry about your own survival. With that, Ye Chen became the first to reach the golden steps. The sight drove the other disciples into chaos, brawling their way up the immortal ladder for a place in the top 100. Truly, this was the arrogance of the so-called protagonist, playing the survival of the fittest game better than anyone else. Huaijian, unable to tolerate Ye Chen's shamelessness, was filled with anger. Yet Lin Xiao defended him. If the latter's formation didn't reject him, it means he didn't break the rules. The process may have been messy, but the result stands. And so, Ye Chen pushed forward, heading toward his moment of glory, the chance to break the record. Meanwhile, the chaos left Lu Yingying's bamboo talismans useless. She could no longer stop him. Could no one really prevent Ye Chen, this shameless schemer? At that moment, Ye Chen soared upward, his eyes finally landing on Lin Xiao's name. Unable to hide his excitement, he shouted, "Lin Xiao, I'll crush your name under my feet." Huaizhen looked utterly defeated, unable to believe that the senior brother's greatest record was about to be broken. Lin Xiao sighed in relief, thinking at least nothing major had gone wrong. But just as Ye Chen, smug and arrogant, was about to bask in his triumph, a stone struck him hard. Everyone froze. Lu Yingying was stunned. "Wait, I didn't even make a move yet." Lin Xiao looked around frantically. Who the hell just did that? To everyone's shock, the one who had struck Ye Chen was none other than the second senior sister, Guo Yurong. The so-called protagonist and chosen one, Ye Chen, was publicly humiliated. But why did Guo Yurong suddenly strike against Ye Chen? It was because she too had awakened memories of the heavenly Tao. In those visions, she saw the sect's destruction brought about by Ye Chen. A person who disregarded discipline like this, she thought, should never have entered the Qinglan sect in the first place. Isn't that right, senior brother Ling Xiao? She said. Normally, the second senior sister should have supported Ye Chen, but now, certain of her heavenly Tao memories, she swore she would never allow him into the sect. Meanwhile, Ye Chen struggled to stay on the immortal ladder. Desperate not to fall, he tried a sneaky move, only to be caught and kicked off instead. Trying again, he muttered angrily, "Do they think I'm a fool?" Inside, Ye Chen was filled with unwillingness. Am I really going to fall here? My vengeance hasn't been fulfilled. My destiny hasn't yet been claimed. I'm the chosen one. My fate can't end like this. At that moment, his body suddenly floated in the air. It was Elder She, secretly aiding him. But such power could only be used once more. Elder She was shocked. So this is the fate of the so-called chosen one? To end in such misery today? But Ye Chen, blinded by rage, begged him to act again. Helpless, Elder She complied. Sensing danger, Guo Yurong prepared another strike, but Ling Xiao quickly noticed her intent. What are you planning? If the protagonist fails here, what happens to the rest of the story? He decided that no matter what, he had to prevent tragedy. In the next instant, Ling Xiao suddenly pulled Guo Yurong into his arms. 2 words, complete disaster. His mind went blank. Why did I just hug her? How do I explain this? Do I say, "I've fallen for you. Be my woman"? Leaning close, he whispered in her ear, "Stop. Everyone's watching. They're trying to pass the trial, while we're here, feeding dog food to the crowd." Her face turned crimson. A heartbeat later, she threw him down with a sharp shoulder throw. Even lying on the ground, Ling Xiao remained gentle. This is something a senior brother should handle. Leave it to me. At that moment, Guo Yurong's heart wavered. Was he protecting my reputation? Pretending to be the one at fault? Meanwhile, with Elder She's help, Ye Chen surged upward again, breaking the record once more. Yet his triumph lasted barely 3 seconds. Watching this, Guo Yurong realized her heavenly Tao memory was correct. Ye Chen was dangerous, hard to defeat, and had indeed broken the senior brother's record. On the other side, Ling Xiao smiled wryly, truly worthy of being the protagonist. Though messy, the outcome is acceptable. Let's just hope the disciple ceremony goes smoothly without more chaos. But at that very moment, the battered Ye Chen glared at him with venom. "Ling Xiao, the humiliation I suffered today, I will repay 1,000 times over."